Hi everyone, welcome to Kat's Creations, and I am Kat, welcoming you to my workshop where today, as promised, I told you that we would be working on a completely new design for a beach wreath, and I can't wait to share that with you. So, couple housekeeping items for you guys. If you have not liked or followed my page, can you do me a favor and do that while we're here on the page right now? That way, when we go live, you have the possibility, it's always contingent upon Facebook, what they show or not show on your Facebook newsfeed, but it's one of the criteria for being notified when someone goes live. Also, if you want to be notified and make sure that that's doable, on this video, clicking the three dots in the upper right-hand corner opens up a little sub menu, and you want to make sure that you turn live notifications on. And then that way, if you happen to be on your device, cell phone, whatever, when we go live, you'll be notified that Kat's Creations is now live, and you can click on that link and go right to the live. So let me make sure I can read all of your great comments. So we did solve the mystery. If you guys haven't been on my Facebook page yet, I posted a quick video last night of something that had crawled in our wood pipe stove, and for about the first hour it was pretty active. I didn't know if it was a mouse or a squirrel or something. At first I thought it was like a bird tapping on the top of our stovepipe vent, you know, picking up stuff or whatever like they generally do. But my cats were really imperative that there was something in our wood stove. So I posted a video of what it sounded like, totally weird. Husband's like, go ahead and just light a fire. And I'm like, no, you know, I don't want to, that's no, barbaric. And I'm not going to do that. So this morning he woke up and he found out that the scratching noise, he's like, the scratching noise is back. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. So what we had discovered, he cleaned out the bottom portion, the main portion of our wood stove, cleaned out all the ash and soot that was in there. And from time to time, whatever it was, would fall into the wood stove, but then make its way back up the pipe and get stuck there because it's a very tall vertical pipe in our house. But it turned out it was a bird. So we were able to, once the cats notified us that Bird TV was live in the main part of the wood stove, we were able to capture him and then release him. So he is no longer on the wood stove, and he did not become a barbecued appetizer in our wood stove. So there's that. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing a new design. I'm going to go ahead and pan the camera down. If you like this design, I'm going to do this while we're panning down. If you like this design and want to keep this video handy for you as a reference video, let me make sure that's a little too far. Well, I always want to make sure you guys can see the end of my table. Just straighten you out there and make sure we can see the measurements. Hi, Kathleen. She's like, hi, I made it. Hi and welcome. Hi, Beth. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Tina. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Donna. All right, so we are using the Unique in the Creek. I'm using the large board. I don't have any of the small boards. Guess I could have done a very, very small one, but the size of the inside of one of my, this is what I'm talking about. You have these inserts that come when you do the ring. Sometimes you get the little inserts. I probably could have done this, but I think the sign is bigger than this. So that's why it didn't work. So let me show you the sign. So this is a large Unique in the Creek board, and I'm using, I'm loading, I guess it would be line 3. So we're not using the outside. We're not using the line 4. This is 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to be just focusing on this one. Well, let me just double check. I think it's 16, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. 16. So you're going to need to have 16 pieces. So, and the way I've loaded my board is if you flip it over on the back, I've done every hole. So I've done the little ones and I've done the big ones. So when you do that bigger stretch on the bigger board, you're going to need longer pipe cleaners. Kathleen, great question. Where'd you get these? You could buy them off of Amazon if you want to do a bulk order, or you can order them from Unique in the Creek Direct. You could also, I believe, Michael's used to carry them. I don't think they carry them anymore. Deco Exchange, I believe carries them. Craft Outlet may or may not. And I don't know if Trendy Tree does, but a few wreath suppliers out there carry them. Because I do so many, I generally will just buy whatever the bulk order is at Amazon, and then I just have spares so that I always have something, right? Okay. First thing we're going to do is, let me show you the sign. The sign is super cute. I love the sign. I got it from Pam at Personalize It by Pam. It says, all the time, God is good. And then the way you're supposed to read it is God is good all the time. So if you've ever seen the movie God's Not Dead, this was a very prominent quote throughout the movie. They would say it back and forth to each other, like, God is good all the time, and then somebody would say all the time, God is good, or vice versa. So I love this design. So this is what we're going to be using for the sign. I believe this is a 10-inch round. So as you can see, you're thinking, okay, well, whatever you're putting there, the sign is going to completely cover that. That is the general idea, which also means that nothing on the inside is of any value to us. So we're going to prep the sign so that the sign's ready to go once we get everything done. I have the label on there. I'm going to go ahead and add my business card. Not that they'll see it, but you just never know. So I'm going to take a business card. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this right over there. And then we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive cable tie things, which are these. So literally it's a 1-inch by 1-inch mounting base. Basically they're just what electricians use to run electrical cable in, and then they zip tie it to keep it looking all nice and neat. So I want to make sure that this is going straight up and down, and I want to make sure that, see, it's adhesive, so I'm going to place one right above and right below the card, and we're hoping to hit those center lines, like I think it's ring 5. So those are stuck on there, but as you guys know, they have a tendency of popping off in extreme temperature. So I have my glue gun right now set for high temperature. So I am just laying a bead of hot glue right along the edge, just to make sure that if it gets too hot or too cold, I don't want it to pop off. And I like using the hot glue, the Gorilla Glue hot glue. So we're going to let that set up, but that's how our sign is prepped. And like I said, I'm using 6-inch zip ties on the smaller gathering of holes, and I use the 8-inch zip ties on the larger ones. If I have my glue gun on, because what you'll notice is when we start to put the Deca mesh in here, sometimes it can feel like that might slip out, it might pull out. I'm hoping I solved that problem, but you just never know. Okay, so again, large Unique in the Creek board. I'm going to take advantage of these 2 holes here at the top, because that's generally where we secure our ability to hang it. So I am just using a braided cord. So we're going to go straight up, actually straight in, and then back up, because we want it to be on the inside where the knot is. So we want it to have the ability to hang. So I'm going to go ahead and put my knot in first. So we did a really super nice knot. I'm going to pull that through, and then I'm going to cut here, and then you see that that's automatically unwinding. I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and just tag those little ends, and I'm just going to twist them together. Just like that. That one's done. You want to get it towards like the tacky stage on your hot glue, and then everything will just stay together. And then we are good for that. Okay, that's all set. and we are ready to go. So let me show you. We are going to be doing a thing. I don't know if you guys have heard it. I've seen it recently. It's called the Daisy Chain. So the Daisy Chain petal looks like this. It is about 7 inches long. Sometimes they can be longer, sometimes they can be shorter. It just depends. It's going to be hard to be precise all the time, but I'm going to show you how we're going to put these together. And then these are going to simply go right here on the inside, and you can see that they are more than long enough to cover the whole upper part of our board. And then the whole center of our board is going to be covered with our sign. So we don't need to do that. And then also it'll, from right where the zip ties are a little bit above, that's where the edge of our sign is going to stop. So we should be set. So you will need 16 pieces. You will need, like, I am alternating my pieces. Let me show you what I mean. So I have like the sand and the surf with the beach, and then I just have the foam and the watercolors. So I'm doing 8 of these and 8 of these. So that's what you will need to put on your board. Now there are other wreath makers that utilize a lot more holes. That's entirely up to you if you want to do that. But it's seriously like overkill to go that deep. There's some people that would say, you know, go ahead and add them to the inside. What you'll notice, like I'll load the whole board and show you, if we were to come in and do the inside holes, even though it's probably only an inch away, it's like serious overkill, and it really blocks the look of the petal technique and just allows you to basically like put another petal on top of a petal like that. And so you don't really get to see the full effect. And I know it's hard for you guys to see that, and that's the whole point. Is like, you worked so hard on developing that technique, why would you want to cover it with a additional row? And some people think, well, the additional row would go in here. No, it doesn't. The holes don't line up exact. So let me show you what we're doing as far as the technique goes. So we're going to use the iridescent wide foil white mesh. All the pieces are, these are 10-inch rolls cut into 10-inch pieces. For the orange, or for the white and the blue, I was able to use the wood burning tool to cut those. And then for the jute ones, the one that looks more like our sand color, this had to be rotary cut because you cannot cut it with a wood burning tool. Every time you get to one of those brown or beige fibers, it's just going to sit there and melt, which is, it's irrelevant at that point. So I'm going to show you how to create one of each, and then we're going to go ahead and put inside, and we're going to grab it. Again, like I said, these are 10-inch pieces. We're going to pull the top down to the bottom, so it's like a corner to corner. Move this one out of the way. And you want to line up your pieces as best as you can. You know, try to make sure that they're even so that you have a nice triangle. Then you're going to take the top and you're going to go almost to the edge. Not quite, but just maybe like a 1/4 inch from the edge. And then we're going to take the top and you pull the top down. So you can see how that's already creating a really gorgeous smooth line. Okay, from here, we're going to pick this up because this is where the folded side is, right? This is where the opening is closest to me. I'm going to take that and roll that down. I'm going to even out my tails. I'm just holding the folded pieces, making sure that, you know, my tails are even so that my pieces up here are even, kind of like so. And then I'm going to take a little mini rubber band because you're not going to see these. And we are going to take a rubber band, and I'm just going to rubber band them at the bottom. Just like that. 3 nice little loops. So this is what makes the inside piece. Okay? I like to give them an opportunity to kind of sit for a while, so sometimes I'll just take my paper clip or binder clip or clothespin, whatever you have handy, and just kind of clip that to kind of keep that in place. And then we're going to build the outside. So the outside one, hi McCary, is it McCarroll? Mary Carroll? How do you pronounce your name? It's beautiful how it's written. So we're doing the same thing. We're pulling the edges down, making sure they line up as best as they possibly can. It's not going to be perfect, okay? So don't get caught up on the whole perfect thing. We're going to bring the corner up about a 1/4 inch from the top, okay? Then where it's folded at the top, we're going to just bring that down. And that's how we create our fold, okay? And super simple. This is where it gets kind of challenging. The easy way is just to take a clip and hold the ends like so, right? So that we can take our inside piece, slide it in, and we're gonna get these two to come together. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that one off. Make sure this is nice and flat in there, not too tight. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that one off so you can see that the petal is now complete. And I like to preload these with a zip tie. You could take another rubber band, but I just like the security of knowing, you know, as it sits out in the weather, that this is going to be providing a good, reliable source. Just like that. And we're going to go ahead and cut the ends off. So we've got one down. That's one petal. Now when we load them on the board, you're going to notice that you have the folded side and you have this clean finish. We want the clean finish side. We don't want the folded side up. We want the folded side face down. Okay, so that's how we build that one. Now when you're doing it with the jute, these ones fray quite a bit. But it's the same technique because we're using this color on the inside. This one you might have to trim up. So there we go. Here's our corners. Okay. I'll pull this down just a little bit more. We're bringing this up about a 1/4 inch from the center. We're taking our folded side and bringing this down so we have that long strip, just like so. Then I'm going to grab the folded side. I'm going to bring these together to make sure my ends are the same length. Take our rubber band. These are from the Dollar Tree, so they're very small. So you only really have to wrap them around like 30 times. This took some practice because I haven't done that in a long time. You know, put rubber bands on anything. Okay, so there's our inside of that one. And we're going to put the outside piece on it. So we're going to go ahead and fold. Same technique for both the inside and the outside. Okay. Bring our corner up about a quarter of an inch down. Take the top, bring it down. Okay, so that it's nice and folded. If you want, at this point, you can binder clip that. Binder clip this. And then as we take it and we fold it around, right, want to make sure that our ends are even. We're going to take that center piece. We're going to place it right on the inside. Let me move the clips now so you can actually see what I'm doing. Our blues match. Want to always make sure that this is flush up against the top. And then I'm going to zip tie it. It's probably overkill. There are people who would be like, well, if you're not going to see that, then why would you use a zip tie? It's just easier for me. Okay, snip that off, and now we have our inside piece. Okay, any questions on the folding technique? Shauna said, I just saw a completed wreath with the design the other day. I thought this was beautiful. Thank you for sharing it. Yes. So I've been seeing those pop up, and I was like, wonder what we can do with that. So I thought, you know what? Let's make a beach wreath with this. Okay. So if we notice, we want to keep our the holes here lined up with our holes at the top. So when we go to add our sign, the holes will match where we have our adhesive cable ties in there. And I am putting the beige with the blue in the larger holes, and then the white with the blue in between those. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So obviously you're going to need them small enough that they will fit. Let me move these out of the way. My board's preloaded. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to move it down to just below where my zip tie is. Going to put that in nice and tight. Okay, there's our first piece. I'm going to go ahead and snip that off because it makes it easier for me to maneuver through all the other pieces. Now, because we're only doing one set of petals, you don't necessarily have to trim these up. But because I'm going to need access to these two holes, I want to make sure I can see them. So with this piece here, if you notice, that would kind of impose itself on those two center holes I need. So I'm just going to take this and trim the ends off. Just like that. I'm going to take this, slide this under. Okay. I'm going to grab my larger zip tie. This is what I had my pliers out, because I really want to pull that down nice and tight. If I don't, what ends up happening is they bubble on the back, and that keeps it from laying flush on the board. And as you can see, it's covering the board perfectly in that alternating pattern. So again, I'm going to take this. See, I'm going to hold this just so you can see how much of it I'm actually cutting off. Just that much. Just a little fuzzy tail. Okay, we're going to slide this in just past my zip tie point, just like so. We're going to trim that off, and then we're going to get another one of our beige, always making sure, right, that we have none of the, remember how I told you it's got a folded side and a non-folded side? We want to make sure the folded side is down. Want to get that under, so those are nice and tight. Trim that off. Oop, didn't do it here. There's that one. And see how the little rubber band does not show? Again, flipping them over, making sure that's out of the way. There's that. So I don't need the clips anymore. Throw this in the bucket. There we go. Okay, and we're just moving all the way around, adding those little pieces, making sure the ends, these edges, are always flush. It's always hard to get the bigger ones down to the board because it's such a wide gap, right? Oop, I was cutting it the wrong way. I want to make sure they're flush. Just like so. See how these slide around? I'm going to actually come in and actually glue them to the board so they don't slide here. It doesn't matter how tight I tighten them, they still move. Okay. Sliding in our small piece here. And then our beach color. I'm going to go ahead and cut that tip off. I just think it makes for a nice clean look. Anyway, up and under. So we can try to move our zip tie in as tight as we can possibly get it. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Sandra. The zip ties, yes, will prevent them from sliding out on the larger spots. Exactly the point. So, while it may seem redundant and overkill, I guess it has a purpose. This one I have it in 2 places. There we go. Always, always, always double check and make sure that everything, like you've got the right side down and the other side, you know, our folded side is down. Grab on to the bigger ones and then really push the zip tie down. See how fast it goes? So what you could technically do is watch a little bit of TV, you know, grab all your materials, and depending upon what method you want, how big your sign is, what your ultimate end look is going to be, sit and form all of your little petals, and then come back in and place them all on your board. It goes much quicker than watching me build all of these over and over. This just allows me to hold and push that down. And I can scoot it over where it needs to go. Right on our center. So this technique for the petal is called the Daisy Chain. And I'm trying to keep my petals pretty even right here, making sure that they're all even. I can make that one a little longer than it needed to be. There we go. 2 more petals and we are finished. Lift that one up. Zip tie. Last one. I had some extras because I didn't realize that I had made so many the first go round. Slide you over. Trying to get the last zip tie. Should have probably put it in place first. There we go. Zip tie away. Okay, so doesn't that look beautiful? And you can do this with, like, you could do a beautiful sunflower center in it. The sunflower center, though, I think is a lot smaller. It's only 6 inches. So you would have to do your second row here. But I'm just going to take a little bit of glue here on my other ones and on the beige ones with the little larger holes. I'm just going to make sure they don't come out. So I'm just going to run a band of glue right over the top. just to make sure. I'd rather make sure than not be 100% sure. Okay, now, if you're really into making sure that none of the Unique in the Creek board is shown, what you can do is you can glue your petals together just slightly so that each one of them closes that gap a little bit. And you would need to use, whatchamacallit, your little clips. So you would put like a little dab of glue here, put a clip in like so, let that dry, and then it'll expand. But I am good with the way I have it. So I'm not going to further glue them. And now we're just going to attach our sign. Hi Peggy, welcome. See, and now we're going to, got to find the top right here. So now our top is going to sit right in the center of that. Isn't that beautiful? It just is, it's nice, it's clean, it just looks amazing. So we're going to go ahead and fasten that in. Let me grab 2 white pipe cleaners. One, 2, and we are going to put these side to side. We'll hope side to side works. There we go. Side to side. Because that's what we're trying to do, is hit those sides. We shall see if that works. So I'm going to position it over the holes. That worked out really good. Look. Here's the one. And look how clean the back is. Let's go ahead and do the other one. I should probably do them both at the same time. I just don't want the other one to pull through. Okay. There's our sign. Make sure it's up. Sign is right direction. Did I grab that right? Yes. Okay, there's one. I'm going to grab my other 2. The goal is to grab all 4. And I did. And pull it tight. There we go. Now everything is to the back. And now you can pull them tight. And just twist them. Pull that one nice and tight. You can even attach your business card on the back. Once you get them up high enough, double check again and make sure everything is in place where you want it to be. Make sure your sign is where you want your sign to fall, just like so. I'm going to flip it back over. I am going to trim off the top right here. Trim this one off right here. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to maneuver that back in that hole. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Going to bend that so that that fits inside the hole. Nice little flush mount, and so everything on the back is perfect. This is ready for hanging. There you go. What do you guys think? Super simple, right? It's complicated in making the petals, but once you got all of your petals together, then it's super simple putting it all together. So let me pivot you up so you can see it on the roof, or on the door, I'm sorry. I need to put my apron on. What the heck? because I think we were worried. Sorry about all the, move the camera around. Okay, I'm going to take this one down. Okay. And here's what it looks like on your average door. Got to make sure mine, my door, because I have like that protruding, I don't know, 3-inch screw that comes out. That's about the size of what it looks like on your door. Now, if you want it to hang slightly higher up, then you'll move where you have your initial hanger, like put it down a little bit lower in one of the lower holes. But that is the design for today. Let me show you what that looks like up close. I'll move out of the way so you guys can see. What do you think? Super simple. Just a super simple design. Oh, thanks, Beth. It's the 5 and 2 thing has become like there's a meaning behind the 5 and 2, not so much the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. It just means, you know, bring to God whatever you have and let him do the rest. So it's like, just be faithful with the small and allow God to multiply your efforts. So 5 and 2 for me is like, when I get in a rut and I feel down, I just think 5 and 2. God doesn't expect me to solve the world's problems. He just expects me to show up with what I have, and he'll take the little amount of faith I have and he'll multiply it. So that's what I have for you guys today. Any questions you guys have on the process? This is automatically going to go into replay status once this ends. Private group is open. If you guys would love to join us, I'd love to have you. And you're just going to go to, let me pin this at the bottom so that it'll be there for the replay as well. It's catscreationsandmore.com. I can't spell. I can't spell today. And I so suck at doing that. Pen. All right. Slowly learning how to do all my stuff myself. So I did see Tammy says, what are the petals? Is that mesh? Yes. So, and yes, Peggy, Pam made the sign, which is all the time God is good. And then it says it again at the bottom. So you're supposed to read it from top to the bottom and then repeat the bottom or the middle to the bottom. All the time God is good. God is good all the time. So it just never changes. It's an infinity kind of thing. So, and yes, it's mesh. I know that, it was Tammy asked. So it's a jute mesh and a regular metallic mesh, but there's a whole bunch of different techniques. You can put ribbon in it. You could make it multiple petals and have it, you know, multiple layers thick. But because my sign is 10-inch, I don't feel comfortable, you know, taking additional mesh and kind of putting those. I know that appears to be nice, but what ends up happening is they pop up. So it looks really weird. I tried it both ways. I actually secured them all to the board and I liked this method the best. So that's why I went with this one. But I hope you guys enjoy that. And I will talk to you guys next week. I'm trying to work on some new stuff too. Thank you guys for joining me. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.